I'm doing depth versus herd, entertainment, things like that. This here is from Cura. It's a website that pops up in my Gmail once in a while. I must have got put on some list or something, but they've got a lot of content on Johnny and Amber that just keeps her cycling and going round. And once in a while, something catches my eye like this. It's called Why is Vogue Supporting Amber Heard? Which is not only a question for Vogue, it's also a question for People, Newsweek, a lot of these mainstream type sites. But let's use them as the example. Because they are out of touch with the times we live in, we are witnessing what is by far the greatest backlash against gender double standards ever, which is probably correct, yeah. You think Me Too was big? This is huge. On TikTok alone, videos tagged Justice for Amber Heard have over 21 million combined views, and April 29th was almost a month ago. A little bit longer at this point. Supporters of Heard will say, but it's all bots. It's not organic. And that's just nonsense. Research has shown that only 10% of Depp's Twitter following consists of bots, and I think probably less. Heard's following, in contrast, consists of about 20% bots. Both are within the normal range for celebrity accounts online, as bots are rampant and often follow popular accounts completely out of the blue and randomly. Yeah, when I think about it, I never quite thought about it like this. All celebrities get bots following them because they have huge followings. So it's really saying nothing to say how many bots are following, except for an unusual percentage like 20% is pretty high. And all in all, what's the difference anyway? Just compare the points being made, and that's that. All statistics globally point towards enormous support for Johnny in this court case, but they're all deranged fans, quote unquote, the Heard stands will say. Not at all. In fact, quite a few people who support the troubled actor have hardly ever seen a film of the man. I have a normal amount. I'm going to say probably about 10 to 12. And how many did I watch because Depp was in it? And sometimes I didn't even know it was him. Like Donnie Brasco, I keep mentioning, I did not know that was Johnny. It was a great surprise when the credits rolled, but just saying. That was a long time ago, by the way, like 20 years ago, whenever it came out, but just saying. The case has touched a nerve with a huge number of people. It has brought all sorts of people together. Exactly. Like me and you out there. I was doing Star Wars, Marvel stuff, and now I'm doing celebrity news and stuff like that. And I'm a Johnny fan now. From female abuse victims to male victims of abuse. From dedicated feminists to MRA men's rights activists. From American pop culture watchers to random folks in India, Nigeria, and the Philippines, which is true too. Vogue is an out-of-touch piece of popular culture, a remnant of the days in which the best course of action was misguidedly considered to believe any female victim, because to not believe her right off the bat would be to hurt other victims and prevent them from coming forward. I do see the appeal of such a reasoning in a sense, but it's simply too risky when things are taken at face value. And for every female victim to be insta-believed, there has to be a man accused to be insta-disbelieved. Yeah, well said. I've been following this case for quite a while now because the dynamics between men and women interest me, and sometimes they scare me. See, my former wife, who I loved dearly, would sometimes fly off the handle too. She'd slap me, and once I slapped back, hard, on the back of her head, in the way an unruly soldier may be slapped on the back of the head in a war movie. She was hurt, and it was awful. I never wanted to allow myself to be slapped by anyone out of principle. At the same time, the act of hitting a woman is incredibly loaded. Is it okay ever? Had she written an op-ed about abuse or shared the story to other people, it may have changed people's perceptions of me, for better or worse. She didn't, however. She kept it to herself because she knows people are nuanced and complex as are situations, and the public has no patience or talent for nuisance. Okay, so we've got a little curveball here. This person admits they have hit their wife. Now, I gotta tell you something, honestly. The most important thing out of all this, between Johnny and Amber, the media, the fan bases, is the truth. I'm not really so mad and so triggered and upset that Amber actually abused Johnny. That's part of it, of course. But the big part of it is that she didn't tell the truth. If she told the truth from the beginning, we'd have a different person. If she said, yes, I abused Johnny. I was out of control. I was out of line. I shouldn't have done it. That would be much different. So if someone does abusing admits it, that's a step in the right direction. The whole issue is the truth. That's the thing in question, and that's the point. Amber Heard never gave Johnny Depp the consideration my former wife gave me. She never sat down and discussed things gracefully and in private. That's true too. If abuse happens, it's horrible, but I would argue it's mainly between those two people and for them to work out moving forward. Amber put it in the Washington Post, and that was another thing that was just really bad. And when people say, and sometimes Johnny fans, it's none of our business, that's right. It's not. Until someone makes it public, like putting it in the Washington Post, then it becomes business of the public because it's out there and it's an example of what's going on, something to learn from, analyze, and help solve if possible. So, if it doesn't get out in public and it leaks or it's not intended by either party, of course, it's not our business. Instead, she tried to goad him into responding with violence. She recorded him for hours upon hours trying to get material to gather evidence that could later get sliced up to give the impression of violence. Yeah, sounds about right. She failed quite miserably. That sounds about right too. Because there wasn't any evidence in any of her recordings. In fact, it only made her look bad. More so than Depp, who looked a little distasteful at times. He yelled, effing C-word, and things like that, but he was at his limit. He was pushed to the edge. That wasn't just Johnny coming out at random, who he truly is. That was Johnny at the point where it was absolutely pushed to the limit. She tried to turn the public against her former husband. She tried to ruin his reputation, destroy him with malicious intent. When other women in failing marriages have showed their husbands grace and their husbands managed to show them grace in return, not everyone, mind you, but it does happen. And this person states once again Vogue's out of touch, which I gotta disagree with. I think it's deliberate, it's political, they're taking a side. That's my opinion. Anyway, interesting, this person admits they hit their wife, but I gotta say, once again, the truth of the matter is the main thing when third parties are concerned. All abuse is bad, absolutely, but when lies are out there, that's when third parties get involved. Let me know what you think down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't consider it and don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. Rant done for now. See you next time.